Good morning to all students. Today in this video, we are going to continue with the text of Act 2, Scene 2 of The Merchant of Venice, and the lines are 116 till 150. So students, let's see the objectives first of all. By the end of this video, you will be able to understand the explanation of lines 116 till 150 of Act 2, Scene 2 of The Merchant of Venice, and you will be able to understand the references and literary devices used in the lines 116 till 150. So students, so far we have done that Lancelot reveals his true identity to his father, old Gobbo. Lancelot tells his father that he wants to leave the service of Shylock, who is a Jew, and wants to join the service of Bassanio, who gives fine new uniforms to his servants. So now let's read further. Now students, everyone open your Merchant of Venice textbooks. Lancelot comes forward. To be brief, the very truth is that the Jew, having done me wrong, doth cause me as my father, being, I hope, an old man shall fructify unto you. Now students, note down the meanings. Here fructify means word used wrongly to mean notify. Now students, here Lancelot comes forward and tells Bassanio and his father, old Gobbo, that the Jew has done injustice to him. He says that what the Jew has caused him would be explained by his father. Let's read next. Gobbo, I have here a dish of doves that I would bestow upon your worship, and my suit is. Students, here dish of doves means present of doves for eating. Now here Gobbo says to Bassanio that his son Lancelot has brought a present that he would like to give it to him, and then presents it in front of Bassanio. So here the gift seems to be a kind of bribe to persuade Bassanio to grant his request, and as old Gobbo starts telling his request to Bassanio, Lancelot interrupts in between. Let's move further. Let's read the gist of lines. Lancelot here says that the Jew has done wrong and injustice to him, and adds that his father will further explain to Bassanio. And then he again goes behind his father. Gobbo presents the present in front of Bassanio, that is, some doves for cooking which he would like to give to him. Let's read the next lines. Lancelot comes forward. In very brief, the suit is impertinent to myself, as your worship shall know by this honest old man. And though I say it, though old man, yet poor man, my father. Students, note down the meanings. Impertinent, here he has used the wrong word for pertinent, and that actually means relevant. Here by means from. Now students, here Lancelot coming forward again, he interrupts and says that the request is concerning him, and further again says that his father will explain. He says, although his father is old and poor, yet he is his son. Next, Bassanio. One speak for both. What would you? Students, here one means one of you. Now here, Bassanio gets confused and interrupts in between and tells Lancelot and Gobbo to speak one at a time. As Lancelot and Gobbo, they both are speaking and interrupting each other again and again. Bassanio then asks them if they want something from him. Let's read the gist of these lines. Lancelot interrupts and says that his father's petition concerns him, and tells Bassanio that rest of it he will come to know from his father, old Gobbo. He says, although his father is old and poor, yet he is his son. Bassanio tells Lancelot and Gobbo to speak one at a time. As they both are speaking and interrupting each other again and again. Bassanio then asks them if they want anything from him. Let's read the next. Lancelot, serve you, sir. Gobbo, that is the very defect of the matter, sir. Students, write down the meaning of defect. It's a blunder for effect, and that actually means conclusion. Now students, here Lancelot replies and tells Bassanio that he wants to serve him. Gobbo then says that this is the gist of their request. That means only this is the conclusion of their request. Let's read the gist of these lines. Lancelot replies to Bassanio that he wants to serve him. Then Gobbo says that this is the sum and conclusion of their request. Let's move on to the next. Bassanio, I know thee well, thou hast obtained thy suit. Shylock thy master spoke with me this day, and hath preferred thee, if it be preferment to leave a rich Jew's service, to become the follower of so poor a gentleman. Students, here thee means you. Thou hast obtained thy suit. That means your request is granted. Preferred means recommended. Preferment means promotion. Now students, here Bassanio says that he knows Lancelot very well and he can have what he wants, which means Bassanio has agreed to his request. Bassanio then informs Lancelot that his master Shylock has spoken about him and has recommended Lancelot to him. He further says that if he wants to leave a rich Jew just to work for a poor gentleman, then he is welcome. Now students, who is referred to as the rich Jew here? The rich Jew here refers to Shylock. And who is the poor gentleman? The poor gentleman here refers to Bassanio. Let's read the gist. Bassanio says that he knows him well and his request is granted. Bassanio also tells them that Shylock spoke about Lancelot today and has recommended him to Bassanio. He further says that if Lancelot wants to leave the service of a rich Jew to join the service of a poor man like him, then he is welcome. Let's move on to the next. Lancelot, the old proverb is very well parted between my master Shylock and you, sir. You have the grace of God, sir, and he hath enough. Students, write down the meanings. Here parted means divided and enough means too much. It can be money or possessions. Now students, here Lancelot then asks Bassanio if he knows the old proverb, the grace of God is enough. He says that this proverb could be divided between Bassanio and his master Shylock. He says that Bassanio, being a Christian, has the grace of God, whereas Shylock, being a rich man, has enough. Now students, what does it mean that Shylock has enough? This means that Shylock has enough of wealth and possessions. Let's read the gist. Lancelot asks Bassanio if he knows the old proverb, the grace of God is enough. He says that it could be divided between him and his boss Shylock. He tells Bassanio that he has the grace of God, whereas Shylock has enough. Let's move further. Bassanio, thou speakest it well. Go, father, with thy son. Take leave of thy old master and inquire my lodging out. Give him a livery, more guarded than his fellows. See it done. Students, note down the meanings. Inquire my lodging out means find out the way to my house. Livery means uniform. Guarded means braided. Now students, this means that Lancelot is to have a uniform with more ornamental stripes on it than the other servants. This might indicate that he is to be Bassanio's jester. So now students, here, on listening to Lancelot's words, Bassanio says that he speaks well. Then he tells old Gobbo to go with his son Lancelot and to say goodbye to his old master Shylock, and then to find the way to his house. Now after this, Bassanio orders his attendants to give Lancelot a uniform with more decorations or ornamental stripes than that of his other servants. So children, now let us understand that why has Bassanio ordered more decorations on Lancelot's uniform? And the answer is that Bassanio has ordered more decorations on Lancelot's uniform because this might indicate that he is to be Bassanio's jester. Students, now here jester means comic entertainer. Let's read the gist of these lines. Bassanio tells Gobbo to go with his son and to bid goodbye to his old master Shylock, and then to find the way to his house. He orders his attendants to give him a uniform with more decorations or ornamental stripes than that of the other servants, and tells them to make sure it gets done. Let's come up to the next. Lancelot, father, in. I cannot get a service. No, I have never a tongue in my head. Well, looking on his palm. If any man in Italy have a fairer table which doth open to swear upon a book, I shall have good fortune. Go to, here's a simple line of life, here's a small trifle of wives. Students, kindly note down the meanings. Here in means come along. I have never a tongue in my head means I cannot speak for myself. Here table means palm of the hand. Offer means promise. Book means Bible. And go to means look. And the last, here's a simple line of life. Here's a small trifle of wives. This means here is a small unimportant line dealing with marriage. Now students, here in this speech, Lancelot is joking by saying the opposite of what he means. Now let's continue. Alas, 15 wives is nothing. 11 widows and 9 maids is a simple coming in for one man. And then to escape drowning thrice and to be in peril of my life with the edge of a feather bed. Here are simple escapes. Well, if fortune be a woman, she is a good wench for this cure. Students, note down the meanings. Maids means virgins. Simple coming in means modest income. Escape means escape. Peril means danger. With the edge of a feather bed. Students, here feather bed has no edges and it means by falling over the side of a feather bed. Escapes means escapes. If fortune be a woman means fortune is depicted as a woman to indicate the inconstancy of fate. Wench here means lady. For this here means for this purpose of business or fortune telling. Father, come, I will take my leave of the Jew in the twinkling of an eye. Exeunt Lancelot and old Gobbo. Students, in the twinkling of an eye means just in a moment. Now students, here Lancelot tells his father to come along and he boasts in front of his father after getting the job, as his father had earlier spoken that he could not get a job as he could not speak for himself. So children, now we will read that how Lancelot brags about himself, and whatever he will speak, it will be the opposite of what he means. And students, here Lancelot is pretending to be a palmist and tells his fortune by looking at his palm. Now looking at his palm, he says that no man in Italy has a more fortunate palm which he places on the Bible when he is taking an oath. He then shows his palm and further says that he will have a better luck. He shows his lifeline on his palm. Then he talks about a small unimportant line which refers to marriage. He says he shall marry 15 wives, and 15 wives are nothing according to him. He further says that 11 widows and 9 maids is a humble beginning for one man. Here he has a prospect of getting dowries that his wives could bring him. Then he says that these lines are the escape routes that he can take to get out of that one. He says, if luck is a lady, she is good at this kind of business, that is fortune telling. Then he tells his father to come so that he can say goodbye to the Jew in a short while. And Lancelot and old Gobbo exit the scene. Now let's read the gist of these lines. Lancelot tells his father to go ahead. While reading his own palm, he says that if any man in Italy has a palm good enough to swear on the Bible with, it's him. He has got very good luck. He shows his lifeline and says that it shows a few wives and 15 wives is nothing. Further, he says that 11 widows and 9 maids is a humble beginning for one man. Then he says that he will be saved from drowning thrice and will be in danger of his life after falling out from a feather bed. But these little lines are the escape routes he can take to get out of that one. He says that if luck is a lady, she is good at this business. Then he tells his father to go. He will leave the Jew behind in the blink of an eye. So students, this brings us to the end of today's video. I hope all of you have understood till this. Now you have to do the homework that is given in your SNAP homework. Thank you.